A few weeks ago, I had an idea about making a video talking about my favorite actor of all time, Anatoly Solonitysn. I would start the video off by asking the question, who is the greatest actor in the history of film? After going over a brief list of actors who in my mind are often generic answers for the question, I would then subvert expectations and present my case for the Soviet actor Anatoly Solonitysn. Next, I would go over his life and his work, discussing some of his more famous performances. And finally, I would conclude with talking about his tragic death. But the more I thought about it, the more this idea seemed hollow and uninspired. It lacked that interesting something, that spark of inspiration that makes you want to create. So I abandoned it. Now, this feeling of finding it difficult to write something of value is not at all new to me. And I'm sure pretty much everyone who writes can relate with me here. All too often are the times of writer's block, when there is no inspiration and anything you do write comes off as absolutely terrible. It is precisely because of this that we writers must also cherish the eureka moment, let's call it. When you get that idea, that drive to create something of value, when you finally figure it out and you have all the motivation in the world. But what if that moment just never comes? What would you be willing to do to get that inspiration? Perhaps go into the zone, a mystical and supernatural area that defies the laws of physics, in the middle of which lies a room that is said to be able to grant anyone who enters it their deepest desires. Well, that is precisely what the writer, played of course by Anatoly Solonitysn, does in the film Stalker. Fearing he might lose the inspiration for his writing, he ventures on this spiritual journey, a journey that will shake him to his core. At its end, he may have the opportunity to find what he is looking for, if that is inspiration at all, or something else, something deeper. A mirror to his very soul, perhaps. If such a thing can ever exist.
Действительно не хочу того, чего я не хочу. Это все какие-то неуловимые вещи. Стоит их назвать, и их смысл исчезает, тает, растворяется. Как медуза на солнце. Видели когда-нибудь? Сознание мое хочет победы вегетарианства во всем мире, а подсознание изнывает по куску сочного мяса. А чего же хочу я?
Is knowing oneself's true desires beneficial to writing, or the creation of art in general? After all, what do artists try to do? In essence, they try to communicate a piece of their soul in their creation. With that in mind, being able to know oneself completely would surely aid in the creation of art, allow you to make something that can truly resonate with others on an emotional level. Does the writer find what he is looking for in the zone? No. At the end of his journey, he is the same as at the beginning. He despises himself, his work, and those who enjoy it. He is selfish, and he knows he is selfish. Selfish like the rest of humanity. He is bored. Bored of writing, bored of living, of existing.
Если для меня это мука, болезненное, постыдное занятие, что-то вроде выдавливания геморроя. Ведь я раньше думал, что от моих книг кто-то становится лучше. Да не нужен я никому. Я сдохну, а через 2 дня меня забудут и начнут жрать кого-нибудь другого.
But perhaps that is how it is meant to be. Perhaps artists are meant to suffer in their work, in their life. The writer is not the only artist that Anatoly Solonitysn has portrayed in film. Indeed, his breakout role was portraying Andrei Rublev, a medieval Russian painter. A man, an artist who had indeed suffered greatly. A believer in the good of mankind, he had always strived to make art that will inspire and invoke happiness in people. To spread goodwill among men, that is the purpose of his art, of his work.
Конечно, если только одно зло помнить, то перед Богом и счастлив никогда не будешь. Что?
After many years, however, and after seeing the very worst of mankind, scenes such as wrath, lust, and pride, as well as himself being swept along in this evil, he abandons his work as it is not appreciated nor welcomed in this world of evil, a pointless endeavor. He also swears a vow of silence to atone for his sin of murder. Many years pass in his self-imposed dungeon of the soul, until Andrei, now an old man, meets a young bellmaker. Inspired by the boy's ability to create and by his honest emotions, he once again returns to his art, hoping to yet bring some beauty into this world.
Ну хорошо, ну чего ты? Вот и пойдем мы с тобой вместе. Ты колокола лить, я иконы писать. Пойдем в Троицу. Пойдем вместе.
Andrei Rublev was deprived of inspiration, of purpose by the outside world around him, the sins of humanity, the evils of mankind. After all, why would someone strive to create beauty in this world of constant ugliness? Is there even a point to art when there is so much suffering in this world? Suffering that a single person's art could never hope to ease. Why do we even create art? For ourselves? For others? Simply for art itself? There must be some passion, some driving force behind it, a goal we wish to achieve. For Anatoly Solonitysn, one of his desires, his goals, was to play Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoevsky, one of the greatest writers in history. His wish was fulfilled in 1981 with the film 26 Days in the Life of Dostoevsky. The film itself is nothing special in my opinion, but without a shadow of a doubt, its best part is the main performance.
Стигается только мучениями. Именно трагедия его в страдании, в сознании лучшего и невозможности достичь его.
Solonitysn completely transforms into another human being. His mannerisms, the look on his face, his body language, the way he speaks, everything about it portrays a scared, sorrowful, self-hating, and shattered genius. A description that I think fits Dostoevsky very well.
Было нормальным состоянием людей, ведь вам правда нужна, не так ли? Одна голая правда без теории комфорта, а я именно провозглашаю, что есть в нас много молодого искания честности рядом со страшным развратом. Народ, пусть он груб, безобразен, грешен, но придет его срок, и вас изумит та свобода духа, которую он покажет. И перестрадают, все перестрадают во имя правды!
I truly hope that Anatoly Alexeyevich Solonitysn felt happiness and fulfillment with the portrayal of his icon Dostoevsky. Of course, for the portrayal he won the award for Best Actor at the Berlin International Film Festival. The critical acclaim was undoubtedly there, but I think that an artist's own personal satisfaction is always more important than the thoughts of other people. Who knows though, maybe that was not the case here, As we discussed before, one can make art for a variety of reasons and find purpose in a great many things. And as the writer in Stalker has taught us, no one can know the full depth of a person's soul. One man, three portrayals of artists, of tortured souls, all in their own way struggling for meaning and inspiration. Maybe the artist's struggle for inspiration has to exist, because without the struggle, the achievement would be hollow. On the other hand, when we overcome this obstacle and achieve victory, it is all the more sweet. A lack of inspiration leads to the idea of a video talking about that very topic. Thank you for watching.